With the balance of power up for grabs in the U.S. Senate this year, political scientists say North Carolina's race for Richard Burr's seat will be one of the most important in the nation.
And tonight, 2 Wants to Know's Ben Briscoe asked former Representative Mark Walker about his plans to run.
When I was a pastor for 16 years, I'm just an everyday guy who's had an extraordinary opportunity to get out there and serve in different capacities.
Republican Mark Walker represented the Triad in the House from 2015 to 2021, when his district was redrawn to favor the Democratic candidate, and he decided not to run again.
What are you proudest of from your time in the House?
The thing I'm proudest is to be able to have a strong conservative record, but also to be able to find a way to build bridges, whether it's in our local community or whether it's on a national level. I know that sounds kind of weak politician gray matter, but I believe it takes discipline to do that.
Speaking of building bridges, if you get to the Senate, what's one place where you think you could compromise with Democrats? Take the Build Back Better bill. Is there anything in it you like?
Well, listen, I think anytime that we are having a chance to provide some support for communities that might be underprivileged, I'm always willing to look at that, provided with this caveat that the adults or able-bodied adults between ages 18 and 59, we should be able to create on-ramps. I would want to put a requirement there for 20 hours a week, whether it's work, volunteering, education. I want to make sure that we're also not just helping out the children in the situation, but we're also helping out those that they may be dependent on to better themselves as well. That's an area that I think we could compromise.
So if you get into the Senate, what is the first issue you want to tackle?
I think one of the first things, this comes from my time as being the ranking member on intelligence and counterterrorism when I served there on the Committee on Homeland Security. If you look at the amount of times that China is cyber attacking us, now 15 to 20,000 times per day on some of our electric grids, we've got to be more vocal. We have to have some solutions there. I think we also have a situation at the border. We're having records amount that's coming in.
Mark and Kelly here with an update.
In December, Walker and his wife released a video saying he was still debating if he should run for the Senate or the House.
I think in being fair and being as transparent as we can, I think we owe it to the people to make a decision this month. Obviously, we get people, I won't call it pressure, or maybe I'll say encouragement from DC to Mar-a-Lago that are looking for us to try to maybe engage more in the U.S. House. I just have to make sure this is something that is not coming from a pressure situation, but something that it's in our heart to do.
So you mentioned Mar-a-Lago. What does it do to your chances for the Senate that President Trump has so strongly endorsed Ted Budd?
Well, obviously, it was a large surprise. Our rating, and this can be looked up. We were the #1 America First. So somewhat of a surprise there. Sometimes the inside politics and relationships, that was driven by the former president's chief of staff, Mr. Mark Meadows, who kind of guided that endorsement. I think we stand on our own. I appreciate the great policies and the work that we were able to do with the past president when it comes to some of the foreign policy and some of the good economic legislation that was passed, but I don't know how to say this. My hope is in the Judeo-Christian principle values of our founding fathers, and not in one individual, and that's kind of how we operate. We're our own guy. That's why sometimes maybe not all Republicans will like us or all the Democrats will like us, but we are going to continue to do what we believe is best for the American people, specifically in North Carolina.
Now, we've also attempted to interview Republicans Ted Budd and Pat McCrory, but we've yet to hear back. Ben also talked to Democrat Sherry Beasley. You can see that interview on WFMYnews2.com.